The Weekend UpNate. The Weekend UpNate. Your weekly recap of news, current events, and trending stories. Let's do this. The Weekend UpNate with your host, Nate Armbruster.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Weekend UpNate. Hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving. I sure did. This is episode 49, by the way, for those of you counting. So if you're listening to this the day or the week it comes out, by the time you're hearing this, it's probably time to throw away those leftovers, by the way, because it's getting nasty. It's been a few days now. You probably don't want to eat any more of that. I don't remember if I've said this, but I got to tell you, after experiencing another Thanksgiving, I am 100% sold on the fact that turkey is the worst of the Thanksgiving foods. I'm all about the sides, man. Well, the sides and the appetizers, okay? So people, I love a charcuterie board. Okay, well, there were 2 charcuterie boards at this Thanksgiving, and one of them was upstairs and one of them was downstairs, and I would go to each one back and forth, and I would eat standing over it until people noticed it. And then I would go downstairs and be like, yeah, that's crazy. This is my first time trying this one. And then I would go and eat there. And then I'd be like, I could feel people being like, okay, he's still eating from the charcuterie. And then I would go back upstairs and be like, I'm just going to grab a couple more things. And then you go back downstairs and you go, I'm just going to grab a couple more things. And it just back and forth until you feel like shit. That's how I spend my Thanksgiving. I filled up on the apps, man. I didn't even put turkey on my plate. Now, there was a particular appetizer that I'm not quite familiar with. I don't see it a lot, but when it comes out, I'm all over it. It is like a cream cheese, pepper jelly, like layered on top. It's basically a dip, right? It's just a plate full of cream cheese topped with pepper jelly, and you dip a cracker in it, and it tastes amazing. But it's one of those things where I'm like, okay, this is pretty good, and someone figured this out. And if you look at it, it's just like someone smeared some cream cheese on a plate and just, it's one of those things that looks like, I don't want to say gross, but it looks like it shouldn't be a thing. You're looking at it like, what the hell is this? And then you try it and you're like, is this a plate full of cream cheese right now? It just seems like it was thrown together last minute one day and someone was like, God damn, this is actually really good. We should tell every family gathering about this for the rest of time. It's nothing I would never make for myself, right? If you got some cream cheese pepper jelly on deck, you probably should rethink some of your life choices. But I will say, when it's out, it's like, this is pretty good, actually. It just seems like it was made out of desperation. Same thing with the root beer float. I've been saying it for years. A root beer float is delicious, but that really seems like a single dad vibe, like, this is all I got, kids, and then he stumbled onto something amazing. And, of course, no Thanksgiving would be complete without a couple football games. In fact, we got the World Cup going as well, so we got both footballs going at the same time. And I will say the World Cup, in my opinion, is less exciting this time of year. Okay, I don't know if it's just because it conflicts with the holidays and it's like kind of, you got your mind on other stuff, you're like busy. In my head, in the summer, it's perfect, right? It becomes an event. And, here in the United States, people who don't know anything about soccer love to make it all about soccer for the month it's on, right? It's like, yeah, now all of a sudden I'm a big fan. I know the names of the players. I know how the game works. It's like, no, you don't. You clearly have no idea. You're just trying to look cool and smart for all the sports folks in your life. And you're just trying to one-up somebody on some sort of knowledge because, we're all dumb Americans and we don't know anything about soccer. But I will say, it is exciting to watch. It's one of those, every time it pops up, man, every time the World Cup, so I guess, every 4 years, every 4 years we get to watch the World Cup, and I get into it. It's exciting. It's exciting because it is like one of those things. It's like the Olympics. It's like, okay, the world comes together for this one thing, and, we're all just having fun and watching this competition, and it's like, sure, the United States have been better at soccer, I guess, when it comes to the global scale, but it's fun to watch like other countries play a sport for once. I'm like, and I've been watching it on Peacock because I'm one of the 12 people that have a Peacock account. And every broadcast that I could, and I don't know if this is a setting that I don't know how to turn off, but every broadcast is in Spanish. And it's way more exciting than the American announcers, or the English-speaking announcers, I should say. It's so much more exciting. There's more on the line, it seems. The passion. I just love seeing all the other stuff coming out about the World Cup. You know, all the interesting little side stories that pop up, like Saudi Arabia won their game, right? They won that first game, and apparently Saudi Arabia provided each player, I believe they just gifted it to them for winning. They each got a Rolls Royce as like a thank you for winning. And I'm like, God damn it. That is a cool as hell gift, right? Like that's better than actually the World Cup trophy. That's probably more valuable. I don't know. That's a good question. I should look this up real quick. All right, so I take it back. Okay, I did Google it real quick, and I am completely wrong. Please don't come after me. Okay, now a Rolls Royce, let's say 2022, the Phantom, $465,000. Okay, still nothing to. It's still a hell of a gift, but the trophy is from my quick little Google search. It says $20 million. Holy hell! That's pretty cool of the Saudi Arabians to get a Rolls Royce for winning. That's such a cool gift. Like, I don't think America could even afford anything like that. Like, what would we gift ours? Like a Subaru Outback or a Toyota Tacoma or something like that? Maybe a Honda Civic, Honda Accord. I guess those are technically made in America for the most part, I think. I don't know. I think that's pretty nuts. That's like a 300. Okay, let's say they got the Phantom, the $400,000+ car. That's a hell of a gift. And then they went on to lose their next game, and now I'm like, okay, do they get to keep it? Because I'd be worried after that, right? Like no takebacks, right? All right. And while I'm on the subject of the World Cup, okay, Japan, one of the I guess most interesting cultures. I've never been to Japan. It's on my list. I would love to go, and it seems like the people are so cool. I would love to see what their life is all about over there. And after the game, which they won, you may have seen this, Japanese fans actually cleaned up after themselves in the arena. Like in large groups, they picked up their messes and they cleaned the stadium. It's like, it's unbelievable because we've always been taught here in the States to just throw our shit on the ground, and that's why we pay people to clean the arena after. There's staff for that. It's not like, I mean, you still don't want to be an animal. Like if I wouldn't intentionally leave a mess, but I'm also not going to pick it up. You know what I mean? Like if I spill a beer, I'm not going to wipe it up off the concrete. You know what I'm saying? And I just thought it was so interesting that they all were like, you know what? Hey, we're going to be respectful and clean up after ourselves. And I think that sends such a nice message to the rest of the world, don't you? In fact, the team, after winning, mind you, most teams would celebrate, spray some champagne, maybe. I don't know if you do that for one win in the World Cup. Maybe for the official, like if you won the whole thing, you spray everything. You don't have to spray the locker room down for just one win. But they even returned everything. They folded everything up neatly. They put all the unused water bottles in a nice little pile and cleaned up the entire locker room. And people are blown away by this. They're like, wow, I can't believe, maybe we should all be doing this, And I don't know. I just thought it was cool. And I think what a thing to be known for. Because you're like, wow, I guess respect is kind of like ingrained in Japanese culture, right? So like, I guess the respectful thing to do is to clean up after yourself. All right, you know what? One thing I can't stand about these soccer games is how long they are and when they end in a tie. It is such a bummer. Can we at least get a winner at the end of these things? 0-0 after all the 90 minutes? What the hell? And you realize you just watched them go back and forth for, 90 minutes and no score. Ugh. It's hard to keep the excitement up, and that makes me wonder if that's why we don't really have a huge soccer league here. It just surprises me because every kid plays soccer growing up. You at least play in a simple soccer league when you're a toddler, right? Doesn't everybody? It seems like some people, I guess, maybe play into high school or something, but you would think we all are kind of born, because it's like the least physical sport you can play, really. Maybe baseball? I don't know. But that's probably wise, because, who the hell cares about soccer after you're done playing? I maybe played for a year when I was a child, and I never thought about it again after that. Never had any interest in it. The best part about soccer was the snacks, man. Whenever the parents, because each parent had to bring a snack after every game. That was always the best. You get like a little reward. I felt like a dog who just went to the bathroom. Like, all right, you finished a whole game. Now you get a Capri Sun and a Ritz cracker. All right, did you guys do your Black Friday shopping? Did you go out and do it? I tell you what, the longer we go here, for a while it seemed, it is kind of gross. It is kind of, I feel bad for people who have to work on Black Friday. I did it, and it sucked, because you're dealing with the worst type of people. The types of people that get up at 4 a.m. to wait in line. In some cases, they wait for days outside the store, all for what? For 35% off a TV? You know what I mean? It's the worst. Like, that's how your brain is wired. It's like, I personally would rather just buy the TV full price. It's worth it to me. Here's the extra $100 if I don't have to wait in this goddamn line. And in fact, if you just went to work instead of waiting in line for those 8 hours, you probably could afford the TV at full price, and you could be a little happier. None of the deals are worth it to me. They all kind of suck. And in fact, with all the online stuff, now that everybody shops online, just order the shit online, man. It's going to be the same deal. You got Cyber Monday coming up. Why even bother, really? I don't get it. But in fact, it looks like, the sales topped over $9 billion this year, which is apparently a new record, which surprises me, because everybody's supposed to be strapped for cash somehow. If no one's working and no one's making money, how are people spending this much money? That's what I want to know. I'll never understand the economy. I don't know why I'm going to try and do it on a fucking podcast for some reason. But people are excited about it. Apparently that's a good thing. I guess it is nice to see a healthy spending over, since the pandemic. But, man, are people just spending it because it's like, well, we got maybe, 20 good years left on this earth? Maybe. Maybe just enjoy the rest of it while we got it. All right, and the good news of the week is I made 3 pies for Thanksgiving, right? I had the whole family I had to feed. I made 3 pies, and so I did an apple pie, a pumpkin pie, and a pecan pie, all right? 2 out of 3 were perfect. The third one, complete failure. Now, it was the pecan pie that was the failure, which is, if there's one that's going to go bad, I'm glad it was pecan, because it's the least requested one. More people around the holidays tend to prefer the apple and pumpkin, right? So I was like, okay, well, as long as I got these 2 classics, I guess, if this one sucks. But, man, there is nothing more embarrassing than completely ruining dessert. And, I didn't ruin all of it. It's just you cut into it, and it just came out like liquid, not even solid, It was such a bummer. It was very, sugary, syrupy, just gross. It tasted good. That's the thing, is at the end of the day, we were like, hey, if you want some, do it. You have as much as you want. But just so you know, the texture and the consistency is going to be god-awful. And I'm sorry about that. But at the end of the day, if there's one thing that has to go wrong and it's the pie, it's like, all right, at least it's just butter and sugar, right? Even if it falls apart, if it's too liquidy, it's not solid enough, the texture sucks. At the end of the day, it's butter and sugar, and you're going to love it. It's going to taste great. So I'm sorry it's not in the shape we're used to, but I did my best. And that's going to do it for this week. If you enjoyed the show, please subscribe. Listen every week. Tell your friends about it. Share it on your social media. Tell everyone you know. Go to my website, weekendupnate.com. Find out about whatever I've got going on. I have an album coming out very soon. It'll be out in the next few months. If you want to be the first to know, sign up for my email list by clicking the link in the show description, or go to my website, weekendupnate.com. And thank you so much for listening. We'll talk to you next time on Weekend UpNate.
You've been listening to the Weekend UpNate with Nate Armbruster, and you liked it, didn't you? If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review, and be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast app. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week on the Weekend UpNate.
Bye-bye.